In this picture behind me, I was getting interviewed by the news my senior year at GCU to talk about the student section. And I got so hyped that I took my shirt off and started waving it around on live TV. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that at your school, but it represented the hype that I was experiencing as a student section leader. In this video, I'm going to break down the 4 primary ways you can activate hype within your student section right away. My name is Brandon Kaiser, founder and CEO of Biggest Fan. All we do is help schools build the most hype student sections across the country. Let's jump in. What is a student section without hype? It's just students that literally just show up, watch a game, and sit down in a section. But the best student sections, the type of student section that you're probably looking to build if you're watching this video, is hype. Students are standing and engaged, they have their faces painted, they're holding signs, and they're making a direct impact on the game. That's what I'm gonna tell you how to build in this video. Now, we have a lot of other videos on how to name your student section, how to run your student section social media accounts, the different systems and organizations, the systems and operations that you need to implement to get more students to games, how to make sure that the student section lasts year after year. But in this video, all we're gonna talk about is what's happening in the student section pre-game and during the game to make it the most hype possible. All right, the first thing that you need is student leaders. Again, I have a lot of other videos on the importance of student leadership, but for this video, I'm gonna talk about you need the right type of leaders who are hype. What does this mean? Your leaders are willing to stand the whole game, to be engaged, to lead cheers, to go crazy, to put themselves out there, and really to act silly and to act crazy where people are going, hey, how does this person have so much energy? The right leader, it just comes natural. They're just hyped to be there and to support their fellow athletes and to be part of the show, right? So you need hype leaders. The second is hype behavior. The leaders and the students need to have hype behavior. So there needs to be an environment that feels safe for students to feel hype, that they can express themselves. That's one of the beautiful things about a student section is it's really just a platform of expression. This is why theme nights are so effective. Who doesn't want to go dress up in a really fun costume and theme and express themselves, jump up and down and yell for 2 hours while watching an athletic event? It's one of the most fun and memorable experiences for high school and college students across the country. So hype behavior, what does this mean? Well, you can't be hype sitting down. You have to stand up, right? You have to be willing to cheer and yell. You have to be willing to clap, to jump up and down. This is why, again, when we talk about hype activation in a minute, the importance of music, right? It elicits an emotional and physical response from students. So we need hype leaders that then allow other students to have hype behavior, which means standing, getting crazy. And so you don't need a whole lot to have hype leaders and hype behavior, right? At the core, a student section is literally just students going crazy at a game. You don't need fancy speaker systems, smoke machines, streamers. You literally could just choose to be hype based on what's going on in the game, and that is contagious, right? When I was a leader, I would just choose to be hype at games. I would go crazy, I'd run up and down the stairs, I'd go run behind the basket and dance just to try and be silly. It just came naturally, right? And what that did is that allowed other students to then feel hype, dress in crazy costumes, stand up, yell, go crazy, right? Get hype. So now that's why student leaders are so important is because administrators can't get students to be hype. That would be awkward, right? You can't force anybody to be hype. You can't tweet and get someone to be hype. You can't change a culture as an administrator. The only way the student section and students are gonna feel comfortable to be hype is if their fellow students, AKA leaders, are doing it. So that is why you need student leaders that are hype. And administrators, this is why you need to go empower leaders. So go check out our other video called Dear Admin, Empower Leaders. It's the only way you're gonna build a hype student section, okay? So we've got hype leaders that allow hype behavior. We know what that is. Now we need hype chants and cheers. So we have another video called Cheers and Chants. Go watch that, but you need to have consistent energy throughout the game. So consistent, simple cheers will actually provide more energy and be more hype throughout the game than if you just do a one-off cheer like I believe that we will win pregame. That might get people excited for the game, but we want to be the most hyped student section from start to finish, okay? So you need cheers and chants. The fourth is hype activation. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time here. And hype activation is what happens outside the game, pregame, timeouts, halftime, that activate the hype among students that turn the student section into more of a memorable experience and an event. Okay, so we need to look at everything that happens during pregame, timeouts, and halftime. So the things that really go into hype activation, well, the first is music, right? Music is the easiest and cheapest way to activate hype among your students. Here at Biggest Fan, we don't create playlists. We create soundtracks for the story of each student section that we work with. Why? Because different types of music is going to elicit a different response, right? EDM versus rap versus a classic versus a sing-along. All of those types of music will activate a different part of the student to get them to do something. So as we're kind of programming out the game, we're asking ourselves, what do we want the students to do in this moment, right? So if we're looking to activate hype, then we're probably looking at an EDM or rap song. If we're looking for students to be engaged and to clap, maybe you're looking at a classic oldie sing-along, right? So that's part of the way we view music. Is it's free, it's cheap, and it's one of the best ways to activate hype. Pre-game, timeouts, and halftime. And each of those parts of the game require a different level of energy, right, from the students. What we're trying to get students to do pregame is different than timeouts, which is different than halftime. All right, the other types of things are in hype activation are the theme nights. We talk about themes. We have a whole video on, coming up with creative themes. Why we do that is it's fun for students to participate, to dress up, and it activates the hype, right? It gets them excited, it builds anticipation, because now they actually feel part of a story that they are then living out throughout the game. And then the other things that go into hype activation are things like free throw distractions, sign making, right? What does the physical section look like? Are there streamers? Are there balloons? Do you have signs? Do you have free throw distractions? What's going on in the student section? And then the other is activities, right? So what is the student section? What is something that can activate the whole student section pregame or during timeouts? So if you go to a GCU game, you're gonna see the whole student section is activated from start to finish, right? We figured out ways to incorporate the whole student section, 2,500 students, rather than just one or two on the court. This is why we're not big fans of the traditional on-court promos, the half-court shot, the 90-foot putt. Why? It only involves 1 to 2 students. If you really want to activate the hype, come up with activities that activate the whole student section, that involve the whole student section while the game is not taking place, right? So a couple examples of this are, these are a couple examples that our clients have used at the high school level. It also works at the college level. But let's say during a high school football game, right? During a timeout or during in between quarters, let's say you do like a mini hoop slam dunk contest, right? Or a hot dog eating contest. Well, that typically is only going to involve 1, 2, 3, or 4 people. But then all of a sudden, if you make it a class competition and you say, okay, here's this representative from the freshman class, sophomore, junior, senior, and we want you guys to cheer for your representative, or you guys are going to rate who the winner is. Well, now all of a sudden you took a very simple thing that typically only involves 1 to 2 people. Now you've involved the whole student section, which activates the hype. So we're going to keep things simple here because the student section is students going to games and getting hype. So you need hype leaders because they're going to get more students to games. And if they're acting hype, then that's going to allow hype behavior from your students. You need hype cheers and chants because a quiet student section is not a student section. It's just students sitting down at a game. And then you have to be strategic with your hype activation, which is really being proactive and planning out your pregame, timeouts, and halftime, using music, free throw distractions, themes, and then activities that involve the whole student section. So as always, I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite hype activation idea? What's your favorite theme night, your favorite cheer, something creative that your student section does during pregame or during a timeout that you think is the best tradition? Drop that in the comments below. If you find this helpful, please subscribe, like, share, send to your friends or to your administrators because we want to help you build the best student section possible. And if you need help building your student section, check out our website, download our free guide. We'd love to jump on a call to learn more and see if we can help. Thanks for watching.